Hey YouTube, what's going on? B-Rex here. Today we're back with Halcyonic Folly. Now I know it's been a while since I've said that. It's been a while since any of us have actually said that. Although for you guys it may have been 2 weeks ago, for us it's been 3 weeks since the last time we recorded a session. Now as I'm sure you guys can tell, we're down a player due to him being sick. Now, in order to make up for that, we are going to have a downtime episode, according to our DM, so don't expect a lot of crazy stuff, but I still hope you enjoy nonetheless. Now, we're all here in excitement because we love D&D and we love you guys. We like being able to make these beautiful stories and enjoyable moments for you guys to see happen. Now, I would like to remind everyone, like I always do, that we are still relatively new. We actually just hit 9th level. It's the highest level I've ever been in D&D, and I think the same with some of the other players. So there's going to be a lot of things we've never encountered before, and I hope you guys can forgive us if we make a mistake, and instead of belittling us or yelling at us or treating us like trash, let us know down in the comment section down below. Now, like always, I'll catch you all in this episode of Halcyonic Folly.
They're the ones that serve
it's just
nothing
1 hour of that.
for the city temple fantasy exploration music.
Fantasy exploration.
I was hoping for Alpha Legion. Oh well. The court has decided.
1 hour of I am Alfarius.
1 hour of silence, occasionally interrupted by I am Elfari.
If only, but no, it's just a 1 hour of.
Hold on, I need to look up and see if that exists.
Dude, I
1
just get
hour
bad
of
PTSD flashbacks,
silence
Sam, of just
broken
wah!
by I am Alfarius.
I swear, if you find it, please send it to me.
Dude, I don't
didn't,
think.
but I found 1 hour of silence occasionally broken up by the opening riff from Bad to the Bone.
And Valus is here.
You know what? We're gonna do this session with me having that playing in the background.
You're just talking, and we just get the occasional.
Oh, we won't hear
Right
it.
off the bat. All right. So
I
we were
just
too caught up talking in music while Chris was gone. We're still gonna start with Rory.
All right, before I go, the moment I heard you say that, PTSD flashbacks to just sitting in there and just out of nowhere, and everyone looking at us as I almost fell out of my chair. Shit scared the fuck out of me. It was funny because even the 18 Warhog wasn't even that bad. It was just that scared the fuck out of me. Like, seriously, Waluigi got my ass?
Right, time to my second drink.
You're on your second. I'm still on my third.
Here's one more question before we start. Did you have your headphones all the way up to max from that?
Dude, I was playing it out of my phone speaker in class with Sam next to me.
Oh.
Sam and I used to go to school together.
All right.
Anyway.
Up.
All right. So before we fully go into it, I'm gonna do a miniature recap. Since this and Yuri's, when we've recorded, is probably going to end up being a full episode, like mini episode unto itself. So, last episode, you all were brought face to face with this creature. Tall and long, weird angles, strange proportions, with a face that looked like almost like a human skull, with its lower jaw split open like mandibles. You all fought it, not entirely sure what you were really up against. Several of you almost died, with Lisbeth being swallowed by the creature at one point and nearly dying soon afterwards, before Rurik finally landed the final blow against it, killing it and freeing Thera, whom the party slowly began to remember, with the exception of Quirquit, of course. After recuperating and speaking with Thera a little bit, you all returned to the Grove, which is where you all are now. As for what happens when you actually get there, we'll go into more in-depth at a later date. But as of right now, you've all kind of regathered and are resting for the time being. And yes, Nova.
So this is like once we get actual downtime and done with the actual shit.
Correct.
All right.
So more than likely.
It happened, didn't it?
It happened.
What happened?
Maybe it's not the best
No.
idea. Maybe it's not the best idea.
I'm sticking with it.
Oh boy.
What happened?
The fucking. Did you forget that I turned on the 1 hour of
Oh,
silence
yeah.
broken up by Back to the Bone? But yeah, so this is a couple of hours afterwards. More than likely, I think me and Chris should see about having this be posted after the next proper session. Just so it makes sense timeline-wise for everybody else.
So should I retitle this to episode 12? That way I don't
Yeah,
get confused?
probably.
Alright, cool.
Probably, yeah. This episode is largely going to be just little bits and pieces of what everybody is doing on their own. You've all returned to the Grove at this point, and have all been appointed your own rooms and everything. And pretty much just have some time to recover and plan next moves or anything like that. So we are going to start with Rurik. Rurik, where do you think you are now? It's been a couple of hours since you've came back. Thera has been reunited with the Oak Mother and whatnot, and you've reached a place of general safety, at least. So where do you think Rurik is now?
I think he would go be where he would logically go to be. He'd spend time with his wife and mourn. He's not over the death. He just wants to be with her. And his daughter. They were both buried there.
So, you are spending your time behind the tree. It's later in the day now, when you all had returned from fighting the creature. It was, I'd say, about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but by now it's about 7. The sun is beginning to set, even though it is still tinted by the faint purple mist that's still just barely visible outside of the grove's borders. It's quiet. Most of the people here have already gone to bed or are recovering for it. And even despite that, it's been quieter here than it had been from before you all made your trip back to the city. But that quietness, it doesn't feel quite as oppressive as it did outside of the Grove's borders. It's somewhat comforting. And as you're sitting there beside the bed of flowers that makes up your wife and daughter's graves, you do hear faint, light footsteps from behind you.
I think Rourke would kind of glaze over. Kind of quick. He's alert. He may be relaxed, but he's not calm. He knows if he lets his guard down, anything can happen, so he's quick to look. Probably expecting to see the drow, Valus herself.
Well, instead, as you turn, you are met with Lutara. It's still somewhat surprising how different Lutara looks now compared to when you first found them. When they first emerged from the statue, they were towering, almost 13 feet tall and glowing blue. But now, they're only about 7 feet tall. Their skin's still tinted blue, but they're not glowing anymore. And they look tired more than anything as they step forward, and they seem as though they want to ask something, but simply just go, "Is this place important to you, Rurik? I've seen you here a few times now since we got here."
I think Rurik would kind of, knowing that this is a being definitely higher than him, pat the ground next to him, asking for the being to sit next to him, next to the grave. Just a gentle pat.
Lutara seems confused for a moment, but moves to sit beside you. Despite the mostly human-looking shape now, they still seem a little out of touch.
You know, before the Protectorate, I had a wife. I had a daughter. Evelyn and Rhea. Rhea took her last name. Because I wanted that. I knew that I was destined to die in war one day. But cruelly, they died before I ever will. They sit below the ground, the dirt. It's all I have left of them. And it's rough. As I'm sure a being even like you would understand loss. It hurts. But thanks to Valus threatening everything, I have no choice. I have to keep fighting, even when I want the pain to end. But I can't. You know? And he'll look up to Lutara.
Lutara is mostly watching the flowers, trying to understand before going. There was a time, a long, long time ago, where I wasn't a lone angel. Before Valus captured me, before I was trapped in that stone to be a battery of some sort, I had a god. I was his right hand. I was the sword that he wielded in the battles that he waged. He was a god of war, a god of combat and conquest. He saw Valus's plans long in the making. He'd kept his eye on her for nearly 150 years, and I was appointed to assist her a long time ago. But then things changed. Valus learned of this. Perhaps this author, as the goblin called it. And what started out as divine assistance turned into divine corruption. And they pause, and before looking at you, he goes, Rurik, I have a request I would like to make of you.
I'm listening.
You are a cleric, I know this. You have a stronger connection to the gods than even I do anymore. Spending all that time trapped away took a lot of my own power, and what I had left I wasted when I attacked you and your compatriots. I want you to see if my god still exists. I fear that when Valus trapped me away, she trapped him too, and may have killed him in some way. We've seen already what Valus and this thing can do to the divine, and I need to know for certain if I am truly an angel with no god.
Which god did you serve?
His name was Ruthrax. He was a god of the orcs of that time. They were different back then. Not as brutish, but still loved their war.
Does this name... Do I...
Roll me a history check.
Alright. Alright, I think I got a plus... Oh, it was history, not religion. Hold on. Excuse me. History is a +5. It's higher. No, it's the same as my religion. So, dirty 20 because I rolled a 15.
The name does ring a bell. You have definitely heard of old gods of all sorts of different current religions. Gods have always came and gone, with replacements showing up periodically. Gods growing too old, or just fading from existence entirely, or evolving into something new. However, Ruthrax is one that hasn't existed in any capacity, at least officially, for several thousand years. Though it's unclear as to what happened to Ruthrax according to books. Some believe that the orcs just kind of moved on, some believe that it evolved into the current god of war called Grutar, but you're not entirely sure. But aside from that...
I'm sorry, Lutara. I explain all this to him. And then I look up at him, because even though he's joining me in sitting, he's still significantly a lot taller than I am. But I will still make a request to my god Markin and ask him if by chance, if there's a will or a way to know if your god's okay, and if not, for him to allow you sanctuary until we can figure out how to make things okay.
Mutara nods. And before you do the religion check, I'm assuming you were about to go try and do, we're going to move to Lisbeth. Where do you think Lisbeth is right now, Nova?
So this is a few hours later.
Correct.
I think she's outside of Thea's door, just sitting. She's far cleaner than she's been since the start of this adventure, though her hair has been cut short with the scorched hair being taken off. She's not as burnt looking, though her hands are still stained black, and she doesn't want to leave, but also doesn't want to intrude. So she's like sitting by the door, and I think she is reading her mother's scroll, trying to understand concepts that are completely foreign to her, trying to understand the language of magic, when for her it's a simple force.
I want you, as you're reading this scroll, trying to understand it, I want you to roll me either an intelligence or a wisdom check. Check,
Check?
not save. We can say Arcana.
So I'll use Arcana then. That is a dirty 20.
As you sit and you read this for a while, at first it doesn't really make really any sense whatsoever, but as you're reading it, you start to feel some part of your mind kind of move in the right direction. But it doesn't feel like it's you doing it yourself. It feels like something is prodding you. If you focus on the feeling a little bit, you begin to realize that it is your mother's presence, kind of guiding your mind in the right way. And the spell begins to slowly make more sense. It's not quite enough to be able to learn to cast it, but it's a good start. But as you're sitting and you're reading this scroll, eventually the door that you're sitting next to opens and Thera emerges. She looks tired. Her eyes are sunken and there's bags beneath them. But she looks better than she did when she first came out of the creature that you all fought. At least more present. And she looks down at you, and for just the briefest moment, it looks like she doesn't recognize you before something seems to click. And she goes, Oh, Elizabeth, why are you sitting outside of my door?
I think she takes a good minute to process her words. Was scared that you'd disappear again.
I don't think anybody here would let that happen again. I'll be honest, I don't remember how I even got out there. The last thing I remember was the tower and then falling, and I couldn't find the rest of you. And then I found my way out. I scaled the wall. I found the forest, and that's it. The next thing I remember after that is waking up in the... She pauses, seemingly trying to remember Rurik's name. The dwarf. Rurik. Yes, waking up with him, and then the rest of you, and that weird hole in the air. Wherever I was, it really messed with my memory.
It messed with a lot of memories. From what I understand, I was the only one who remembered you. No one in the grove did, and it was scary. I missed you.
She gives a faint, weak smile. Because it's startling seeing how much has changed, and I feel like there's more that's changed that I just don't remember ever being different at this point. The smoke outside, it feels both new and old at once. Like it never existed, but it's always been there. And I try to remember time before it, and I get bits and pieces, but nothing concrete.
Our
She-
party. Oh, good.
No,
Go.
you first.
Our party knows more time has passed than we think, but we haven't had a chance to actually know how long. We know at least several moons.
She chuckles a little bit before crouching to sit beside you and goes, well, I wish I could help you find out the time, but I don't remember it myself anyway, so there's not much I can do with that. And she goes silent for a while, seemingly thinking, and goes, that place, that hole, do you know where that came from? The thing that appeared above the creature, have you guys seen it before?
We've seen it a few times. When not a few,
You've seen it
one
once.
time. And I think it has something to do with necromantic magic, right? That's me asking Chris, the note taker. No, that was the birds. I've seen it once before.
Like I'm just on screen, just as confused as Sam when she said that. Just what?
It's been a while. Let's see. It was with
Remember,
the,
I write the notes inside the notes. What my notes are inside the notes. Just look at
It
the
was
notes.
the.
To be fair, your notes are sometimes unreliable.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make them better. I've just been out of it, as I'm sure you're more than well aware.
Yeah, fucking. The big thing in Quick Quip's Crave.
Did you just say crip?
No, I said Quip Quave.
Fucking Snoop Dogg crip walking in on the scene, just like, yeah.
It was that thing, right?
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was above the creature that you guys killed.
It was above another creature we killed. Strong, though I will not say as strong as the one that held you. All touched by the smoke, like you had neither cursed nor blessed, feels like the right word, is affected them. And we don't know what it is. I don't know what it is.
She seems quiet for a moment. Not really sure what to say or even if she wants to say anything. Roll me an insight check, Nova.
Insight. Ew, that's a 7.
He just seems tired and rattled at this point. Let's take a pause here. Move to Sinclair.
Yippee!
Leon, what do you think Sinclair is doing at this moment?
Honestly, I know he does it a tons of times, but he likes to just wander about doing his own thing, like going through things in his head and just basically entertaining himself per se.
Is processing the word you're looking for?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Is there anything in particular you think Sinclair would be trying to focus on while he's I'm assuming pacing through the grove?
Hmm. I'd say one thing that really had kept his head spiraling is I don't know. Little disclaimer: I don't know if this was discussed before or after. I don't remember if it was a while back. He ponders why of all things the smoke doesn't turn him, but it like reacts to certain things, or why it's
Why
there.
it hasn't infected you like it has just about everything else?
Exactly, and why V has kept if she has control of it, why she has kept it that way. What is he there for another purpose that he doesn't know about, or V just keeps under a lock and key? And should he be worried?
Let's see. Roll me. I'll say an insight check.
Okay. I'm just gonna say that rolled a nat 20.
Are you shitting me?
I'm not shitting you.
I'll just say it rolled a nat 20. It didn't
Yeah,
really.
when
I'll
you-
just
when-
say.
when you say "I'll just say" that was a nat 20, you don't instill me with much confidence.
Yeah, when you say I'll just say it sounds like a lie. You got to say, oh, that was a nat 20.
No, I know. I apologize. It is a nat 20. It doesn't look like it did, but it is a nat 20.
What does that mean?
I think he was referring to the fact of what you said. It doesn't look like it when you say it like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it is
Okay.
a nat 20. Apologies for the confusion. It is a nat 20.
As you pace around and you spend a while thinking about it, you know that there's been something different about how you work for a long time. I mean, otherwise, whenever you feel particularly angry, you wouldn't be forming, tails or claws or jaws like you do. There's always been something intensely animalistically strong about you, no matter how you try to contain it. And but what sets you apart is your ability to control it, to remain level-headed until it's needed. And the same sort of thing has happened with the part of you contaminated by the smoke. You were able to, by pure force of will, contain it to that place, even able to use it yourself when needed, even if you don't use it that much. Some part of your will is stronger than whatever is going on now. But as you wander around the edge of the grove, you hear a sound that you remember. A faint almost creaking sound, but it doesn't sound like trees or anything like that. It somehow sounds animalistic. And as I said, you've heard it once before. You heard it when you were watching the cave entrance just a couple of days ago. Um, Hello?
Want to continue on with what you're saying, or do you want me to say what I was going to say?
You go.
Okay. Sinclair would turn his head to the noise and recognition, and he would stare in the direction, hand on one of his axes, but doesn't have it fully pulled out. Since he's heard this noise, and he was watching everything. However, he doesn't know if it's friend or foe. So it catches him on a defensive no.
Roll me a perception check as you look out into the trees.
All right. Oh, I got a 3 + 4. That's rough.
That's
That's an 8? No, 7.
Yeah, that's why I'd say that's
Yes.
rough.
You look out into the trees in the direction of the sound that you heard, and it's surprisingly dark out in those trees. The purple smoke haze out in the trees, mixed with the setting sun above, makes it incredibly difficult to make out details. But you do remember what the sound came with. The tall, almost deer-like creature. But not quite a deer. Is there anything you want to do when confronted with this sound and this understanding?
Ooh. Since it has bugged him since he's heard it, he kind of wants to step a few feet over to it, but not as far to where he's like on the edge, to see if he can have a chance to see it again.
All right. Here's what I'll say. You can either roll another flat perception check and just be on the edge of the grove, or you can walk a few feet into it and roll with advantage. But that would bring you closer to whatever it is that you're trying to see.
I'd say I'm going to roll a flat perception for the first one.
Okay.
Oh, I got a nat 20 with a +4 to perception.
See, that was a lot better than I'm just going to say.
I know it was a big fuck up. I apologize.
Bro's taking our luck.
No, I'm sorry. I want to interrupt real quick because I just realized whenever I emptied my dice, I haven't rolled my normal dice. I only have rolled today the dice my fiance had got me. I look over and my black die is on a nat 20 right now, and my orange die is on a nat 1. I didn't do this on purpose. I rolled them out. How the fuck? I wanted to show you about my camera cannot reach my new
The
D&D
power
table, so I'm
of
sorry.
love and friendship.
That's gay as hell. Shoot it, Dad. No, I'm fucking with you.
But you take a few steps forward, just barely reaching the edge of the tree line. And after giving your eyes a few moments to adjust, you do see it. The same thing as before. A tall creature, bent at weird angles, a human made to look like a deer, watching you with white pinpricks for eyes. But this time it doesn't run away. It doesn't move closer. It doesn't seem to move at all, but you can tell it could. You've seen it do it before, but it just stands there, watching you. Impassively. You can't quite tell if it has any intention to attack or anything like that.
Sinclair's gonna like study it and like just stare at it and just won't move a muscle. Try thinking in his head, what kind? I don't know if I should trust you or if I should move away. If you stay over there, then we won't have problems. Though you are quite a creature that I am unfamiliar with, that I haven't seen from the fog. Well, actually, that's wrong.
Actually,
I've seen you once.
while you're thinking that, I want you to roll me either an insight or an arcana check.
Oof.
I will let you roll it with advantage, actually, now that I think about it.
Alright.
Because you already have part of the smoke with you.
An 18 plus 1 to Arcana. Thank you for giving me that advantage because I got a natural 1.
As you look at it, and you think to yourself, I haven't seen you like anything out of the smoke except for that one time before. And as you think about it, this creature really doesn't seem like something from the smoke. It's definitely not natural. It's not something that would be born naturally. It's not quite a deer. It's not quite a human. But the smoke doesn't normally go out of its way to change something this viscerally. It'll create something like a zombie. It'll infect birds, and it can take control of other creatures, like you've seen with the thing that you fought just earlier that day, or the afflicted afterlife protector. But this is something new. There's aspects of it that seem like may have been the fog, but you've never seen it change something quite like this before.
Okay. Ooh, pardon me. Sinclair would proceed to shake off the feeling of it, and he would just continue on wandering, because in his mind, it's not chasing him. It's just standing there looking at him. So he believes that he's just gonna leave it alone and walk away, since he doesn't. It's not perceived as a threat to him, and he's gonna go back to wandering.
As you continue wandering around, we're going to cut back to Rurik.
Alright, I'm back. What's going on?
um, so the last thing you did was you offered to convene with Merkin to see if you can learn anything about Lutar's old god.
Yes. So I think Rurik would begin to say his prayer, his normal prayer, one that might actually kind of strike Lutara in the heart, because there was something you said earlier that I chuckled at because it's very eerily similar to Rurik. And if you remember, the prayer goes something along the lines of Merkin, God of courage, God of war, God of strength. Please give me the power, allow me to be your blade, and send me on your path, send me on your way. And he'll continue with going, I need to ask for a favor. I have somebody here who needs guidance. Well, let me do it in the voice. I have somebody here who needs guidance. His name is Lutara. And for several thousand years, he's not been in contact with his god. Can you please let us know if everything is all right? And if not, grant my friend here sanctuary under your domain until we can make things right. I was once lost till I found you, and I feel everybody needs courage to make it through now. Please, give us enough courage and strength. Let us know. And he'll look up and he'll reach over, pull out the Merkin symbol necklace that he has, lay it on his chest, and kind of hold the bottom of it, like pinching the bottom of it, and look straight up in the air.
Roll me a religion check with advantage because of Lutara's presence.
All right. First one was a 12 plus 5. The second one was a 15 plus 5.
So a dirty 20.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take the dirty 20, Chief.
As you say this prayer, you feel a warmth in your heart. But as it grows, you're filled with this almost feeling of emptiness. Not quite of Merkin's absence, but the absence of something else, something you didn't know was there to begin with. After a few moments, the feeling begins to coalesce and begins to make sense in your mind. A confirmation that Ruthrax is dead.
Can you actually tell me
Lutara's
how to
former
spell
god.
that real quick? Because I would like to write that in my notes. You know
I'll
me.
text it to you.
You know me. I like knowing about gods. That's why I'm a cleric. And it's confirmation that he is dead, not like he is
Dead.
missing, not like okay,
He
so he's
is
just
dead.
outright dead. And there's no way for me to know why or how, obviously, so I'm not even gonna ask. I think Rurik will look up to Latara, and knowing how he would feel if Merkin was gone, the loss, the sadness, I think Rurik would help himself to his feet, and I'm assuming Lutara would still be like at least a foot taller, and he'll reach up and put his hand on his shoulder and look him in the face, whatever type of face he has, though I'm sure like it's not much of like a human or a dwarvish face, it's just like, you know, the angelic features that he has.
Yeah, the angles are a little too sharp.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It pains me to tell you. The Uthrax is gone.
Roll me an insight check.
Let me see my modifier, because this might make or break me. Hold on. Insight. +4. That's 19, baby.
As you say this, Lutaro's face is hard to read. Being an angel, the expressions aren't quite right. But what you might have expected, sadness or despair, isn't there. Instead, it's almost comfort. And Lutaro goes, I suppose I should have expected that. Rurik, I was an angel of war for a long time. I killed a lot of things in my time. In Ruthrax's name. Even in Valus's at one point. But when she trapped me in that rock for so long, it gave me time to reflect, to think. War is, and always will be, an integral part of mortal life. No matter what, mortals will always have something to fight over. Names, land, products, petty grievances. It doesn't matter, there will always be war. But that doesn't make it a good thing, does it?
It does not. Sometimes I wish that people could actually see the way my god does. He doesn't just fight to kill or to dominate. He fights because a fight needs to be made to keep the innocent safe. Not everybody can defend themselves from people like the Protectorate, or in our cases now, Valus. I mean, you've seen what it's done to this place. Everyone's scared. They don't know what to do. They think it's the end. And that's why I couldn't forgive Merkin for the longest of time after the passing of my wife and my daughter. Because it was war that killed them. I blame my god. When I served in self-pity for 6 years before Valus tricked me into going to where the Protectorate was, serving another 6 in misery, in slavery, and in torture. And every day I blamed Markin, but it wasn't him. Now he's given me a reason to fight. I've seen my daughter. I've seen how even she is threatened, even beyond the grave, as I've already spoke to you about. War never changes. It progresses worse. Don't you laugh, DM. I'm trying to stay in character, and you're making it very difficult. Alright?
You're the one who hit me with the war. War never changes.
I wasn't thinking
So
about
can-
Fallout. I was not thinking about Fallout when I said that, and now I am. Now I am. Thanks a lot. I'm not going to get it out of my head now. You son of a
War
bitch.
never
I
changes.
literally have to stay in character or else I'm going to break and I'm going to laugh. Please. Silence. Thank you. For the love of gods. Thank you. Alright. Back to it. It only progress. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Mute, you motherfucker. He's not even in this world. I don't even know why I said his name. But anyways, it only progressed. Thanks a lot, guys. I can't even say progresses anymore. Thanks. It only gets worse. Sometimes it feels like our efforts to keep the people safe is worthless. A part of me wonders if maybe Valus is right. And that bothers me.
Imagine he answers the call in character. Wait, she's right there and called him.
That wasn't Abby. That was
It wasn't.
my mom.
I didn't see who it was.
She's asking me what She's asking me what I want from Wendy's. Yeah. Rurik loves.
Baconator. Yeah.
Rurik loves Wendy's. Wendy's is my favorite. I like the Big Mac from Wendy's. That's the right place, right? Hold on, I'm almost done. Classic with plain. Classic plain with cheese. Alright. Where was I? Oh, yeah. I only feel like no matter what we do, we're going to lose. These people are going to lose their lives. And I'm going to fail my daughter. Once again. That's why I sit with her now. Because I know my destiny. And it's to die on battle. And it's not even my God's doing. It's everybody else's. No matter how hard I try to live a life, to be at peace, there's always somebody who wants to change the world for what they think is the better. And they just make it hard for people like me. And that's the only reason why I haven't given up, though. It's because Merkin. He gives me the courage to protect the people who don't have any. And even now, it gives me the courage to speak to you. When I shunned everything religious, including beings like you. Because I thought you all deserved to burn. But I was wrong. I find myself wrong all the time. But even a being like yourself has to understand. Emotions are powerful. They're twisted. Inhumane. And everybody suffers. Because one person wants a second slice of the pie. You said that there was others. God damn it, I'm getting another phone call. Fuck! What about you, you big fuck? That's not really what I say, but...
now.
I'm sorry.
Did you buy a magic deck?
No, I just opened it.
Can I just say, that was awfully funny. I'm holding my daughter in the face cam, and all I hear is, did you buy a magic deck? Yes, this is my brand new commander deck. It's called Big Baby Bertha.
Big baby Bertha.
She looked at me so unamused.
Its power is 10/10.
No, it's actually 100/100. Get it right. And it's a 10 mana drop.
Oh.
With Cascade 7, Annihilator 8.
Yes. and Monster Manual
And-
works because it's a mono green.
And it has indestructible.
Yerp. And hexproof.
But it doesn't have trample.
No, sadly.
It's to
That's
make it work, it has
fine.
toxic 5.
Oh god.
Yeet the baby.
You ever seen the not the Dr. Pepper, the Doritos ad where like he's like the woman's pregnant and he's like moving around the Doritos and she gives birth because of it? You've never seen that? Oh my god, it was like fucking horrific. All right, anyways,
It's not
continue.
delivery, it's DiGiorno.
Lutara sits and listens, nodding occasionally before going. There was a time where I thought fighting was the only option. I don't want to fight anymore, Rurik. Since my creation, all those millennia ago, fighting was all I knew. And for thousands of years, I was trapped with the only thing I wanted to do was get out of that stone and fight more. To kill, to destroy. But now I don't want to do any of that. I know that the world we are in now doesn't allow for someone to sit on the sidelines and watch, but I can't bring myself to fight anymore.
Then don't. You say that you can't sit on the sidelines, but you kind of can. In this case, there's people here that need aid. You can be somebody that helps patch people up. Somebody who helps plan. Somebody else who delivers food to the people in need. There's other things to war than just murder, than just killing. You can aid, you can love, you can care. These people need faith. They don't need a bodyguard. You can finally put your sword down. You don't have to hurt people to be courageous. You just have to stand up and inspire. Even whenever you're scared, whenever you think all is lost, you show the people that they have something worth fighting for, even if you yourself don't fight. So don't. You're not what you're created to be. You're who you make yourself become. You've wasted those years, you say. I don't think you wasted a single year. I think you've learnt. You've learnt who you've wanted to be. So be who you feel like you're best at being. And if you're scared of trying, why? Time on this planet is short. Now even shorter than before. And every second that passes, your time dwindles along with the rest of ours. Don't let it be the thing that tears you down. Let it be the thing that builds you up. You said it yourself. I could tell you're relieved. Not having to pick up another blade. So don't. There is no need for the endless slaughter. There's no need to be what you were created out to be. Be you, Lutara. The best you can be. You've been alive far longer than I've ever even thought about living myself. Quite honestly, I don't know how you've done it this long without retiring already. Of course, I understand the god you served. But it's okay to put down the blade. Even if I have to pick it up for you. That way you never have to hurt again. You can trust me with that. I understand more than probably any mortal in this grove about war. About not wanting to hurt anymore. I don't want to either, and my God doesn't force me to. My God just asks me to help make sure people are okay the best way I can. And sadly, due to the state of the world, it's the only way I can right now. So please, Utara, relax. You've earned it more than anyone else here. Ask the Grove Mother what she thinks that you can help her with that doesn't involve violence. Ask her for a place to stay sheltered, to stay safe for once in your life. You deserve it. Rorik kind of gives us a little side smirk.
Utara stays sitting for a few moments before nodding and standing and goes, "Thank you, Rurik. I have a certain amount of things to think about now." And they reach down and pat Rurik's shoulder, like having to almost lean over to do it.
Before you
turning-
Before you go, I tend to do this every now and then because I feel like it helps people sometimes. And Rurik kind of pulls out like a copy of his medallion of Merkin, courage, and he gives it to him. You don't have to be a warrior to be courageous and help. And if this helps you in any way, I want you to take it. You don't have to serve him. You don't have to pray his prayer. Just hold it, and I hope it keeps you safe the way it has me for these many years.
He takes it, nodding and spending a moment looking it over before thanking you again and turning to walk away. And the last thing you hear him say before he turns around to the edge of the tree is go, "All I want now is peace." And he disappears around the bend of the tree. And with that, we're going to cut over to Elizabeth. You and Thera are still sitting by the door to Thera's room. Thera honestly looks like she might pass out right there sitting next to you in front of the door. I'm going to do something real quick. And as you're sitting there next to her, you feel a presence in the back of your head. A familiar one, your father. He goes, "Elizabeth, I've been thinking."
Ever took you for a lesbian?
I've been thinking about all of this for some time now. The goblin mentioned something called the author, the writer, the creator, something like that. And there have been some groups throughout the world's history that believed that this world was made by one being above the gods, above everything else. And they all believed that this being created the world the series of laws, immutable things that cannot be changed, cannot be removed. And there were 6 of them, specifically. And I believe the things that we all killed were 2 of them. They called them by various names, but first and foremost amongst them was the aspects of creation. Death, rebirth, future, memory, violence, and peace. If what we are dealing with is the Creator, then why would it be bringing forth these aspects? Why would they be manifesting in the world itself? And the better question is why were we able to kill 2 of them? If the first thing that we fought, whether the rift created at first was, as Eleva and I suspect, was death, and that makes the thing that we killed earlier today more than likely memory. That still leaves 4. It doesn't make sense to us.
Wipe the slate clean? I think she says that out loud as well. Like, it hits her and she says it out loud.
When you say that, Thera kind of looks over, confused, and goes, What? What do you mean, wipe the slate clean?
So, what has happened? Talking to what might be my parents in my head?
Thera was there for that.
Yeah, right. Sitting there talking to parents in head. They might have a clue on what we've been killing.
Oh, that... I suppose that's a good thing.
And I'm gonna convey what my father said about the author and the question of why are these aspects becoming material and why are they killable?
She nods a little and goes before going, perhaps we could talk to my mother about it. She might be able to find something. I don't... She always tells me that the trees remember everything, so perhaps something could be done there.
I think that's a good idea. Even just informing her of this as she gestures her head might be useful. People from before the protectorate, and she's gonna stand and hold her hand out to help Thera up.
She takes it a little weakly, but she does take it and stands up.
I think when she takes it, Elizabeth is staring at the contrast between Thera's paler skin and the tainted black of her own hands. Before heading on down to where the Oak Mother usually is, or has been.
Yeah, she'd be down in the Great Hall. As you and Thera make your way down there, you see Lutara walk past you, and up into where the rest of the rooms are and whatnot. And the Oak Mother isn't in her little circle. She's actually sitting at a table with a small bowl of soup in front of her.
Soup.
Good soup. And she looks up at both of you and she goes, "Oh, I didn't expect to see either of you for at least a couple of more hours. What are you two doing down here?"
There's something I think I should ask your opinion on. So, and she's going to explain the whole parents inside of her, and you know, and I have a question.
Stop.
And suppose the question: why would these fundamental aspects be material and killable? And her first answer of wiping the slate clean. See if that helps.
She takes a moment, kind of mulling over the information that you've given her. And she goes, I have heard these ideas of how creation works, and I subscribe to them in some amount. I do believe that there are, of course, natural, immutable laws to the world, and this list you've given me seems mostly accurate. I've never heard of memory or future being laws of the world, but the others make sense. I mean, everything dies sooner or later, and rebirth is common, whether that be fungi through dead bodies or a forest regrowing after a fire. And, well, as long as something's alive, there will always be violence, but for as long as something else is alive, there could always be peace. So, it makes sense to me in some capacity, and restarting the world, clean slate, making everything new. It makes
It kind
sense,
of
but
fits with what Vanna's been trying to do. No, not Vanna. Valus.
the logic makes sense, but I don't understand why something would want that. And if it was capable of it, why didn't it do it before?
What if it doesn't want it?
If there was a being that was capable of it, if there was a being that could create this world on its own, it would have to want to do it if it were making it so. Unless creating the world was an unconscious action of some creative being, there had to be some sort of will behind it, and with a will to create, there has to be will to destroy.
But what if it's not this author's will to destroy? What if it's something else? What if it's something? I mean, a parent doesn't have control over every aspect of their child. Free will, all that.
I suppose. Then that leaves, if this theory is correct, then it leaves one of two options. Either this creator wants this world destroyed for one reason or another, or something above it does.
Or equal
That
to.
or equal, I suppose, but most groups that believe that there is some sort of creator seem pretty dead set on there being only one. And Valus, from what you've told us, Valus continuously refers to a he, a singular entity. I will do some looking into it. See if any of the other druids that I hear know of anything, and we can talk about it all as a group after you've all gotten some rest.
Yes, and I guess before you do so, may I ask 2 quick questions?
Of course.
And she's gonna like roll out the scroll on the table. I've been trying to learn this. It's work of my mother, and I was wondering if you had anyone who might be able to help me.
She spends a moment looking over it before going, This is the work of a wizard. If you want help learning it, you're going to need help from a wizard, and unfortunately there aren't any here.
Right, and This other question's been on my mind, but we haven't had a chance to finish. We know we were passed out for a long time, but how long exactly has it been for you all since we left, since the smoke came in?
Well, since you all left here, it's been about 6 months. And it's been about 5 or so since the smoke rolled in.
I see. Now I just had a thought. Did Elizabeth's birthday roll over?
I believe. I'm pretty sure you said that Lisbeth recently turned 16 at the start of the campaign.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I think her birthday is soon, but it hasn't happened yet.
Right.
Yes, because the entire reason she was appointed to the mines was because she was finally old enough in the Protectorate's eyes to work in the mines.
Yeah. Thank you.
Now, I do think you and Thera should get some rest.
Yes, ma'am. And she's gonna roll the scroll back up. The mother approves.
And with that, we'll yeah. So this is going to be a little wonky because we're going to focus on quick for a little bit, and then we'll move on to the rest of this.
Okay.
So, Yuri, as I'm sure you remember, the last thing that we had all done collectively was you guys fighting the creature in the woods.
Yep.
And this is going to be taking place about 2 hours after you all return. I'm going to do this, and then when we move on to the main part of the session, it's going to be going back to when you guys first... Actually, I might not have it go back to that on second thought. Simply because, as I think about it, there's really not a whole lot to have happened at that point. And we can burn that bridge when we get to it. This is about 2 hours after you guys return. So it's about 7 p.m. And much of the grove is starting to wind down for the night. So, with that in mind, where do you think Quip is right now?
Right. So, forgive me. So you said this is about how long after we got back from defeating that monster?
About 2 hours.
About 2 hours? Okay. Well, I'd say that Quip probably spent his, I guess you would say, wind down time just walking around looking at the shops and whatever else you could find in the grove, if there are any shops. Just generally exploring because he realized he hasn't really done any exploring. He kind of just stood around and followed the group for the most part.
Alright. As you wander around, there aren't very many. For one, there's not many storefronts in general. This is, a sort of communal grove, but you do see a couple of places of some crafters who make little trinkets and whatnot, and likes to trade with others in the grove for cute little knickknacks and whatnot. As you're wandering around, you see Sinclair at one point, also kind of walking around on the other side of the grove. You see him pause and look at the trees for a little while, but nothing really visually seems to come of that for a while. At one point, you notice Lutara going outside of the tree and then returning back inside about 10 minutes later. But what you really notice that sticks out to you is most of the people that you pass by, these elves, for the most part, as they see you, they seem to have almost a knee-jerk reaction of somewhere between disgust and fear before they seem to have to mentally remind themselves that you're part of the adventuring party, the group that saved the Oak Mother's daughter, and they put on plastered smiles.
All right.
The only one that doesn't seem to have that reaction is Branch Ferna, the centaur woman that you had spoken to when Elizabeth was freaking out about Thera just a day earlier.
All right.
Anything else you would like to do?
Well, I suppose that Quip Quip would like to speak with what'd you say her name was? Branch Ferna, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Quip Quip approaches Branch Ferna and starts up a conversation with her. So, you didn't remember the, what do they call her, Oak Mother's daughter? You were entirely lost about that whole affair, and yet here she is with us. How would you forget someone that important?
The centaur seems almost a little embarrassed and goes, I'll be honest, I don't know. The memories of it are still a little hazy. They're coming back. I remember her now. I remember when the Oak Mother adopted her and so on and so forth. But it feels like there was a veil that was placed over them that is only just starting to pull back. The feeling of that veil being lifted started about 2 hours ago. I'm assuming whenever you build that thing in the trees.
Yeah, that thing. I don't quite understand what that was. Neither did anyone else in the group, really.
I've had stories of creatures that deal with all sorts of concepts, but most of them feel like just stories, like there was nothing substantial about them. But I suppose in times like this, stories can be a lot more real than they once were.
I suppose that is the case, but one can only wonder where such a thing came from and, well, if it has anything to do with the other recent arrivals. I'm not sure how to feel about this place. I see the way that everyone else looks at me. And frankly, I reciprocate in more ways than one. I've never been very fond of civilized folk. But it appears I have to, at least for some time, pretend I'm fine with it.
And then sometimes there's only so much that can be done except to power through.
Indeed. Indeed. No, you go first.
I was just gonna say that, as you're speaking with her and looking around, you do notice that she is the only centaur here. In fact, she's the only person here that seems more unique than elves or humans or anything like that.
Say, you're not too different from me. There aren't exactly a whole lot of you running around, are there, lady? I don't exactly see anyone else of your stature here. What gives?
Well, yes, that I am the only centaur here, and she pauses, seemingly mentally trying to decide whether or not she wants to really talk about it before seeming to have a what the hell moment and goes. The tribe that I was part of, they were not great. They were hunters to the extreme. They have an area of land about 20 miles hold on, retroactively to go back 200 miles, about 200 miles in diameter, that they patrol. Or they did, at least. I don't know if they still do, considering all of this. But they killed anything that came into that area with no regard for anything. They believed it was their right to have that land. And I didn't agree. I believed that they were supposed to share the land, as the land shared with us. And she gestures at her, equine lower half. And so I spoke up, tried to get them to change their ways, and they damn near killed me for it. And so I ran. I don't know if there are any other centaur tribes near here, if there were before the time when all of this happened, or if there is now. But most of the people that live near here only knew of my tribe, of how they would hunt anything that came into their land, even going so far as to chase them out, and chase them miles out of the land. And it took some time for the people here to get used to me. If it hadn't been for the old mother showing as much trust in me as she did, as to make me the head ranger, they probably would still be afraid of me.
I see. Well, that's, quite the story there. Leaving your home because of a moral discrepancy. If only more people were like that, instead of just coming up with excuses that they have to go along with it. Well, this has been an edifying conversation, but forgive me, I am, very parched. Is there anywhere I can get food around here? Preferably hot.
Of course. She gestures to the great tree, which, when you had entered, when you first got there, about maybe a quarter of the inside of the tree of the great hall, in there, is a mess hall. There's long tables, and there seems to be an area that's enchanted to consistently keep food that's put there warm, and stockpiles of things like bread and stew and things like that are kept there, just warm.
Alright. Well, then I suppose that is where Quip Quip is heading to next.
All right. Quip heads into. You head into the hall and start looking around at the food options. Do you think there's anything in particular Quip would be looking for food wise?
Quip Quip strikes me, as the type who's really in the mood for, like, something beefy. Something, whether that be a steak or beef stew or something the like, something that, has red meat in it.
I'd say you could probably find beef stew.
Alright, well, Quip Quip, I guess, goes up to grab that and sit down and eat it wherever he can eat it. Is this like a proper dining hall with tables and everything, or?
Yeah. So I don't think I ever put like set in stone the dimensions of the inside of the tree. But this tree is damn near 250 feet across. Like just the internals of the tree itself is about 250 feet across. Taking into account like the bark or the areas that were made into like rooms and whatnot. And the actual size of the tree is almost 550-ish feet across. So there's a section right next to the door that is mostly made up of tables and the the long benches and whatnot.
Right.
And as Quip sits down, I'd say you probably sit down around the same time that Lisbeth and Thera descend from the room to speak with the Oak Mother and explains. Elizabeth explains to her the whole concept of the aspects of creation and the question of, why are they manifesting in a way that can be killed now and whatnot, which I'm pretty sure I already explained all of that to you last Sunday.
Right.
But is there anything you think Cole would want to do after getting the food in his belly?
So how what time is it, would you say? Is it like nighttime already, or is it just dusk?
It's about dusk.
Alright. Well, since it's dusk, I do think that Quip at this point, having been, well, this has been a pretty long day for him at this point. I think to round off the day, what he wants to ultimately look for is just a place that he can get ready to rest, some place that he can, set his stuff down and finally just take a proper lie down.
Well, the Oak Mother did set up accommodations for you.
Right. Yeah, that was how many sessions ago?
3.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a room on the other side of the tree, down the same hall where Elizabeth and Rick and Sinclair's rooms are. The room is it's. I think to equip someone who's lived most of his life in cave systems, it's on the smaller side, probably about 15 by 15 feet. It's not like not anything to write home about, but it's cozy. The inside of a tree is likely a very different vibe compared to the inside of a cave, or especially different than the inside of a cell. With a basic bed and whatnot.
Is there a window?
Yes, there is a window. It seems like the window was sort of set with like a natural curve of the tree itself. At some point, a spot was noticed and a pane of glass was set up in like a frame, and then the tree grew around it.
Right.
Rather than like a hole was carved into the bark or something like that. As the edges of it aren't perfect, with like weird little curves and everything. And it looks out into the trees, and despite the fact that much of the forest immediately surrounding the grove is still its old natural self, even in the slowly fading light of dusk, you can still see where the trees begin to change into that weird, almost geometric curves.
Right.
Anyway,
So we're back to Sinclair now.
Before I mute,
Yeah.
I do want to say I've already sent the first half of
I
notes.
saw that.
Cool beans.
You also put each instead of death.
Did I? Fuck, I fucking fat fingered, didn't I? Where's that at?
Last paragraph towards the top.
Towards the top.
Or
Yep.
not, last
alright.
paragraph. No, yeah, it was last paragraph.
Give me a second, I'll fix it.
All right. So, what do you think Sinclair is doing now that he's kind of continued walking past the deer thing?
I want to roll to see, because of Sinclair's background. I want to roll to see if he knows any history about gods
Like,
that take a shape of familiar. Because he's now starting to think, what if this creature is
if
following him and it's a god that he's unaware?
if he's seen like art or something like that about something like this.
Basically, because in the back of his mind, in front of his mind, he's thinking that this creature he believes is at first was from the smoke, but now in the back of his mind, he's thinking maybe this is something from a god that he's unaware of that is like part of how he has these specific powers. Something that is like something like a god that's watching him from inhuman shape.
All right. Roll me. I'd say a history check with advantage, because
All right.
you've dealt a lot with like books and whatnot that have dealt with stuff like that in the past.
I got a
At least
16.
like stories.
I have a 16, but I'm gonna roll again to see what I get. Okay, so I'm gonna take the 16 plus 1, so that's a 17.
As you think about it, you have seen like art and some books, and you've heard some stories about um about all sorts of gods and things like that, taking the shapes of animals or creating animal messengers and things like that. But as you think about it, while you've heard a lot of stories about gods doing this, you've heard more stories of fae doing things like this.
Huh. Does
Not the metagame, Leon, but do you need any like help with questions? Because I do see you're struggling thinking. I can give you like a couple questions you can ask if it helps you. Because I see you want to figure out more, but you don't know what to ask.
yeah.
DM, is that okay?
I don't mind.
All right. Something that you might want to ask is, DM, you said that he's heard more about Faye doing this?
Yeah, like Arc Fae and things like that.
Maybe ask something Faye related, like if you've ever ran into Faye before, or interrogate that thought more. Follow it down more, that rabbit hole of, have I ever encountered Fae? Have I ever seen this before this moment? Things like this that are very similar in my past, things like that. Think, you have a background, you have history. Dig deeper into your history to see if you can figure out your questions that you want answers to, but don't expect all questions to be answered. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Okay.
Hopefully that helps.
Yeah. So Sinclair would he sort of delves into his mind even deeper, remembering going through like certain history spots from years and years ago, thinking about what if he has encountered any fae of this variety, or any fae that have per se known this or have known this.
I will say this. Fae aren't well known exactly, but stories are told about them a lot, and oftentimes they are depicted as tricksters and changelings, often taking all sorts of appearances to fit all sorts of needs, whether that be as a human or an elf or a bird or an animal. So, being able to pinpoint a specific time where you may have encountered a fae is difficult to say. And the fae very rarely leave their own plane of existence. Um, so,
Hmm.
it would be hard to tell. Um, Now, being in the grove, druids often work a lot with the fae in some capacity. So perhaps someone could help you there.
Is there in uh I don't think we specify this. Is Sinclair outside of the grove or is he still like inside of the grove?
You said specifically you wanted to stay within the grove's borders.
Okay. Is there a a li- a library that has certain history that druids have studied?
Within the Great Tree, there are a couple of areas where, like, scrolls and whatnot are kept, notes from the druids that have lived within this grove for a long time, and even some that were brought in from outsiders before the grove closed its borders to most anybody with the Protector's rise.
Sinclair would stop wandering and go to the library to seek help to find out if there's any information about more of the phase
All right.
to see if there's anything that will help him in the slightest.
All right. Then what I will say is, if you want to go in there and look for books or whatever depicting, like, do you want to, like, go in just looking for things about fae, or specifically about fae who take the appearance of deers, or fae who appear like in times of crisis like this, or anything like that? Just let me know and roll an investigation check.
I'd say both fate taking shapes in not
Of
in
like deers.
in crisis and non-crisis.
All right. Then yeah, roll me an investigation check to see if you can find something there about that.
All right. Oh shit! I got a 6+1.
You don't really find a whole lot. It's largely a lot of what you've already kind of known just from stories that have been told about them. They like to show up when they can gain something out of it. There is one particular detail that comes out, and that is that Fae like cycles. They like things moving in a constant circle more often than not for their own gain. Now that cycle can take all sorts of different different shapes, whether that be trade, as a lot of Fae are materialistic in one way or another, whether that be actual physical goods or emotion or things like that. It could be cycles of reincarnation, it could be cycles of lies, things of that nature. but when it comes to specifically deer or fae who show up in crises, it doesn't really get much deeper from what you find than just they like cycles.
Okay. He's going to proceed to still look around to see if anything else catches his eye for the meantime.
In like the library or just wandering around?
In the library.
All right. Roll me another investigation check, but this one won't be about specifically fae. This will just be in general.
Okay. Okay, I need to reroll that because I don't see the number. I got 16 plus 1.
16 plus 1. You do find something that kind of sticks out a little bit. This book seems like it hasn't been touched in a long, long time. It is covered in dust and even pollen, tucked away in the corner of a bookshelf. The book is, well, maybe only 100 pages at most, about 4 inches by 5. But as you kind of leaf through it, you begin noticing that it seems to be depicting a character with a similar thing to you. An ability to take on animalistic features when in a particular state of mind, whether that be a tail, claws, or a snout. As you continue looking through the book, it's hard to tell whether it's nonfiction or not. It's so old, back in a time where writing truths and lies were almost identical to each other. I think like the way the Iliad was written, or something like that. Something that, like in our world, the Iliad, the way it was written, was probably just an exaggeration of events, but in this world, it's obviously very much more likely true because monsters exist and whatnot, but it's written in a very theatrical manner.
Does it give off any small indication of what the power might be from? Even if it may be true for or a lie.
So the way it's written, it seems like it's written from another person's perspective, somebody who isn't the actual person themselves. It is written about them, but from a third person point of view. And it doesn't say anything concrete. The way it's written, it makes it seem like the person is theorizing. Though one of the main theories is that it is bestowed by a fae. Specifically, it is stated that it's possible that the person is what's considered a changeling. Someone who was born human and replaced by a fae who continued to live their life as a human, or an elf in some cases, but in this particular case, it was a human.
Oh my god. Oh. Okay. Sorry, that just brought a smile to my face for some reason. Holy shit. Oh. Okay. He says to himself, this may be true, it may not. I would definitely want to ask Ruik about this, because he may know more about this more than I do. He's studied more. I'll have to ask him. Sinclair would proceed to close the book and gently put it back into the corner where it was, and he would proceed to leave the library.
As you walk back out of the library, one more time you hear that same sound. That creaking, not of trees, but of something not quite right, coming from the trees. And then it fades. As you look out, you don't see the creature again. And I know this was a very short one, but I think we're going to cut that there.
That is fine by fucking me. Holy shit. That just, I have to say this. That literally brought a smile to my face.
I will say,
my
I
God.
definitely enjoyed that session. I do like these sessions too. I won't lie.
Oh my God.
I love exploring the smoke-filled world, trying to figure out what Valus is up to. But it was nice to take a moment to try to learn about ourselves and about each other. And I will say, I would have been more than happy if Leon actually invaded my story. Because I already know so much of Rurik, because he's an older gentleman and most of his story is already written. So, like, if I had to help another player, I would not have mine at all. That was phenomenal.
It was great to look inward.
Great
That just brought
Tolkien
a-
work? Is that what you just said?
To look inward.
Oh, I was...
It just brought a fucking smile to my damn face. Like, holy
I
shit.
won't lie. It makes me feel good to hear Leon actually ask questions. I was pretty happy about that. I actually texted Sam, I'm so proud, instead of crying emoji. That was enjoyable. Good job, guys. That was a good session.
Yes, it was.
I
If
have
only Yuri
so
was
many.
here.
Yeah, right.
Holy
I
shit.
have so many questions, and I don't want to wait.
Dude, there's so many plot lines that could actually work with Sinclair now. Fuck.
That's the issue. Is because you
Fuck.
see. Here's the fun fact right here. Ready? I gave
Damn
so
it.
much lore that it's hard to pull shit out of Sam's ass to add a plot point. Like, I still want to know how my mountain home's doing in this world, but we're quite far away from this said mountain home. Now, don't get me wrong. With the world being twisted, it could easily be morphed closer now. But with it being so far away, it makes it difficult for me to explore what was already created for my character. For you didn't write much other than you were a traveling merchant who liked to sell, and you took the path of the beast. That opens an entire door for Sam to be as creative or as uncreative as Sam wants to be. You could have known the answer by session 1, but Sam has plans, and I enjoy how creative Sam is about it, because I am just as intrigued to learn about you as you are to learn about yourself.
I'm in a very similar boat as Leon, because I also put very simple what I am, and it has expanded so much farther.
I feel bad for Sam. Sam will tell you how much I wrote about my character.
Dude.
I wrote like 3 essays.
Yeah.
no, but it just brings a fucking like, what if it's this? What if it's that? And I'm like, what is it? What is the plot here?
Yeah, there's so many.
What about my notes this time? Y'all want to talk shit about my notes?
I just want you all to know there are so many important things that I've said today alone.
Yeah, it's just a matter of piecing it together. I'm half tempted just to re-listen to every single episode and re-jot down my notes just to piece it together. But I feel like that's cheating.
because you know everything I say is important in some capacity.
Well, not just that, but I feel like I was on the right track at one point, and then we stopped doing D&D for like 2 months, and then I lost everything in my mind about this campaign. I forgot everything, and my notepad that had all my notes in it got flooded and ruined. So I lost all my notes and all my theories. And I feel like what I need to do to gain it back is literally sit back down, listen to every episode on a free time, and just jot down things I find important and remember my theories and remember my plot points. I thought my theory about it being a familiar was pretty fucking awesome, by the way. Because that's what I would have done. I was like, oh, dude, that has to be a familiar. He's like 1 level in Warlock. Sure, why not?
Wouldn't that be patron?
I'm pretty sure Warlock is familiar.
I think you mean.
Oh yeah.
Well, no, they're like what gives them their power is patron.
Yeah, but like the familiar,
the find familiar spell. I know what you're talking. I know what you mean.
Yeah. See, I know this stuff because of Sam, because Sam played a character that had a snow fox find familiar. So like, I know these things.
Which, by the way, is the fox going to make an appearance?
I cannot tell you.
God damn.
You will just have to find out when it's my. You better hurry up and finish your campaign.
You better not
don't do that. I'm still writing.
Please don't, for the love of fuck, don't hurry up and complete this campaign because I love it. Please,
y'all. Yeah. I won't lie to y'all. I am a little worried because we're already level 9. We're not like halfway done with this campaign. But, like, we're halfway done with our characters, I feel like, in this campaign. Just saying.
Y'all are going to be leveling up a lot slower going forward.
Well, yeah, but we're already halfway there, and it's a little frightening, because that means the creatures we're going to go up against, we needed to be level 9 for.
We're halfway there.
Wow. You should have been level 9 to fight, to fight the last thing.
Yeah. Which I'm not allowed to say why, but still, fuck you, Sam. I guess that's where I'm going to stop my